would have saved my content.
Hey everyone, Lil Moore here. Welcome to Saturday Cup of Joe. Just over here, we're just talking away. We're forgetting about the time, and we're just getting into it, man. I just want to welcome everybody real quick. I hope you had a fabulous week, and we're gonna get back to this discussion. We have my main man Sean Daly here. He's an alpha, by the way, Vito Alpha, part of the group. Man, I want to apologize to Sean right now because I should have spoken with you years ago. You know, you have an amazing story. And first of all, I just want to say welcome, man. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How about you, Lem?
Yeah, I kind of teased you a while ago saying your voice sounded like you just woke up voice, you know?
That was not that far from the truth. We're 2 hours different.
Right. So
I'm happy to be here.
Real quick, let's tell us again. Now, you just went on vacation, and it's been like 5 years. And for those who knows one of those deals, that it's just a must-needed vacation. Where did you go?
Yeah, so we went to St. Martin in the Caribbean, and which is an amazing place. We waited a long time. We have 5 kids, and we used to vacation all the time, and we did not take a vacation for a long time because of this business, which is great, but that was way too long. So we were like, oh, this vacation's got to be everything. It's got to be tropical island. Like, what's your list? Okay, tropical island. They have to speak French somewhere. It has to be good weather. There has to be warm beaches and great food. And I'm like, how the heck are we gonna find all this in one freaking place? So my wife, God bless her, she did the research, and she's like, I've come up with St. Martin. And I looked at it. I'm like, this looks pretty good. I've never been there. It had everything. We went, and it was amazing. I just, wow, just amazing. It's a half Dutch, half French, and they have, the people are happy there. They want you to be happy. Everybody, I mean, from the taxi cab driver to the guy at the hotel, there's like, hey, are you having a good time? And it was genuine. Like, they really care about the time you have. You can't get a bad meal. Anyway, I could go on all day about it, but yeah, good stuff. Very relaxing. There's even nightlife if you're into, going clubbing. I mean, you can just, it's like,
you trying to tell me you and your woman didn't go clubbing?
We did. No, we definitely went clubbing. Yeah.
I was about to say.
we went clubbing. We don't last as long as like 25-year-olds or whatever, but we represented.
Oh, that's amazing. Wow. That's good, man. That kind of makes you, bring you back to reality. Wow, I've been working this hard. I'm on vacation. And there's something about vacation, you just kind of shift, you think about how great it is, but then you come back and you're like a beast. You like turn it back on,
Exactly. Beast mode is on. That's what happens is it's like the sharpening the saw thing that Stephen Covey talked about. And, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It's just that whole reset, to reboot on your spirit and your energy. If you took the right vacation, if you take the wrong vacation, you come back going, I need a vacation from my vacation, and you don't feel it was like too much work, and that was not this vacation. I'm good with those, the adventure vacations, but This one was all about relaxation, rest. It's like I'll get up when I'm bored and I can't sleep anymore because we again with 5 kids and driving to 3 different schools, we don't sleep very much around here. And I mean, it's fine. We get through, but it was really nice just to unplug. Yeah.
Right. So tell us where you grew up at, man.
So I was born in Philadelphia area. I went to a school there until I was about 12. I played Little League with Mike Piazza, actually. He went a little farther with his baseball career than I did.
All right.
Just a little bit. And then I moved to Rhode Island in high school and college at UMass and Syracuse, and then jetted out here to California. I've been here ever since.
UMass, how about that? And Syracuse. So how was your college days, man? Was it like, were you one of those hardcore kids? Were you nerdy? Did you do anything interesting? Were you a partier? Or did you learn a lot?
Yeah, I know. I tried to do all those things, which was kind of hard, but I was trying to kind of find my way. I was definitely I was budding nerdy, but I also liked, I liked sports. I was always into sports, and I liked the party and all that. But, I just was trying to figure my way through it. And at the time, and this is going way back, this is like 88, late 80s, right? And they did not have back then PCs. And I was really into PCs. Like I had, the Commodore 64 and all that stuff back, if anybody knows
Commodore 64, I love it, man. It's like no one else knows what that is. I'm like, you never had a Commodore 64?
Oh man, it was awesome, Oh, yeah, load Asterisk, comma 8, comma 1, all that.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I should get that. I should get that tattooed on my forearm.
You should get that tattooed or a t-shirt, dude.
Actually, that's a good t-shirt. Oh shoot!
Yeah.
Hey, edit this part out of the podcast. I'm just kidding. Hi, I'm an old man of technology.
Yes, exactly.
But yeah, so I went to, but it was interesting because nowadays you can go and learn everything that you actually would use.
Right.
Even in a 4-year school. But then there was no PCs going on. It was all super minis and mainframes and blah, blah. So I was like, yeah, I hung out in school long enough. I got a partial scholarship by the end. I started pretty rough, like not that at all. Much to my dad's chagrin, he was helping to pay for some of it. And yeah, he's like, so you have a partial scholarship now and you're going to leave school? I'm like, yep, I'm out of here. Because I just was like, they're not teaching what I'm into. And so I just literally just made my own way, self-taught myself on PCs. And I got really excited about that. That's when the light bulb really went on. Because, comp sci, programming, I was like, none of this is working for me. And then I was like, oh, PCs. And then I just did anything I could with PCs at that point. It was like, train people, I'll work on your computer, I'll load your, I'll install your new drive, whatever. I just wanted to work on them. And so I had that, youthful enthusiasm for this new medium. And
right.
Yeah. So in California, I literally landed with a couple $100 in my pocket, lived at my aunt's house for a week and tried to find a place and really just bootstrapped. I met this guy and he owned a copy store and he referred me to a few of his customers. And then this real estate agent did. Next thing I knew, I had like 20 clients and I had a life and I was 19 years old and making money for the first time. And it was just fun. I just started a business from scratch and I always had that entrepreneurial bug, and that was the first time I had a chance to follow it through.
Right.
And I was hooked. I've never worked for anybody since. I've worked, I'm 47 now, so it's been quite a while, and it's been good. It's
dude, had you not ever said that, I would have never thought you were 47.
You thought I was 49, huh? Well, thank you. I appreciate
that. Wow. So is there anyone in your family who influenced you as getting that entrepreneurial drive that you have? I mean, is there someone that was in the past in your family that you saw that actually did that, or is that just something in you? I mean, we all have something in us, but kind of explain it to us. That's
an interesting question. Not really. My dad has always been more kind of the company man. He's still at 72. He's still working general manager at hotels. He's a hard worker. But now my mom, I think, was the one who told me you can do anything you want to do. And I think that's where it came from, even though she wasn't an entrepreneur. And definitely grandparents know, but I think it was more just her telling me you can do whatever you want to do in life. And that message, to my brother and I didn't put any glass ceilings over our heads mentally, that we just felt like we were going to be able to do what we wanted to do if we applied ourselves to it. So I'd say that's the credit I would give there would go to moms. Right. Yeah, that's good, man. Any brothers or sisters? Yes, I have 2 brothers, Kyle and Craig, and Craig was a rock star in high school. He dropped out to pursue music and be a rock star. Now he's a vice president for one of the largest digital media schools in the country. He's in corporate meetings. It's so funny. Yeah, he went to this school as like a rebel. I'm going to study music and audio engineering at this school. And that school then became a 4-year institution that was teaches what we do even now. They started for the audio engineers. So it's so funny, but yeah, so he's super legit. It's funny. He's still a rock star though. We still jam together. Right. Okay. Together, but yeah. That's amazing. Wow. And Kyle's a video guy. My other brother, he works for Universal, and he's so he's into this industry as well. So we all ended up in the same kind of industry and through different roads. That's amazing. Well, you guys have a lot to talk about the Thanksgiving dinner or whatever when y'all catch up, There's a lot to talk about. There is. It always tends to be how crappy the Eagles are playing, though. We really don't talk about it. It's just they paint us. Right. I saw your hat, and this morning I thought, what am I going to wear today? I thought, I'm going to put on my jersey today because I really want my Cowboys to work and do something. I'm trying to give them the vibe, but I thought, no, not today. You're one of the only people I feel more sorry for than the Eagles fans right now, because your sub quarterback's been hurting you a lot, and I'm sorry about that. It's life. It's how it goes. Moving on. Anyway, our sub looks the butt fumble, but that's okay. Right. Or throw pick sixes.
So right out of college, you started doing publishing. Let's talk a little bit about that because we were getting into that before we started the show, and let's pick back up on that.
Okay, so yeah, so actually I wasn't doing publishing then. I always liked writing. So even though I was studying comp sci, kind of my English teachers were telling me that was what I was better at. I was like,
right,
no, but I enjoyed writing, but really I just became the typical IT guy, just doing, like I said, computer work. Started that company. That became, I went to this rollout show in Chicago in 91 for Microsoft, and it was on Windows NT, this new thing that was coming out that was going to revolutionize, PCs and computers. And I went there and I was like, this is going to be something. I just got that itch. I was like, I think this is going to be real. And I read this book that was very dry reading by, I think it was Helen Cutler, who was the definitive guide that Microsoft had commissioned on Windows. And I read this thing and I was like, yeah, I think this is really going to be something. So I came back and I was like the first guy doing anything with NT in the San Francisco Bay Area. And I learned it, I knew it, and clients were like, huh? Windows what? Because it was all Novell and stuff. And they're like, what? When? But I was able to be one of the first people because I saw that, luck or whatever it was. And what happened was I'd be on these internet, well, it was like Gopher news groups or whatever the heck it was back then. And these publishing companies were approaching me saying, hey, you want to write a book? Because they were so desperate to find anybody that knew about this operating system. There was a huge gap. And I walked into this gap and I got an opportunity to write 4 chapters in one of Q's biggest books, which is a using series, using Windows NT Workstation or whatever it was. So I got to do that, and I was like, oh, I kind of like writing. This is fun, and then I started getting deals, offers. Even though I was nobody, I was just this guy living in Sonoma County, California, with this little IT business, working with local businesses, stuff. I started getting all these book deals, and wrote for the Windows IT Pro magazine. Became a senior contributing editor there, and so I was writing. I was getting famous, so I was building all this fame through that medium. And through the writing up, but I wasn't capitalizing on it, and so I had this dual existence where I was trying to manage, struggling to have a local business, trying to keep maybe an employee or two to help me out, seeing these local businesses in Sonoma County, and then I was like this famous writer guy, famous in that world, like not really famous, but famous with IT geeks, right, or Windows or enterprise admins. And speaking at their conferences and doing all the thing. And so one day I had a business coach and he sat me down and he goes, okay, let's just look at what you're doing here. Okay. He's like, you're like a rock star that owns a bakery. And here we are, we're talking about how to help you make donuts. And I'm wondering why you're not on tour. And I went, okay, I get it. He's like, you're not capitalizing on any of the fame that you have. So this guy helped me to, that was all he had to say. And I sat there in this coffee shop for about 5 minutes and I went, okay, I know how I can do this. I'm going to take these. I'm a journalist and I get pitched as a journalist all the time by these tons of software companies, all of which you know the names. And they just want me to write about their stuff. So like hey, Sean, can we schedule a call with you on Friday? And so okay, sure. And I have to listen to these pitches from these PR weenies and marketing people. So I said, well, what if I pitch these people on the idea of writing a book for them that's like an ebook? Because ebooks were just kind of new at the time. And Stephen King had just done, I think it was The Plant. He was starting to do, actually that came just after I did this, but so I beat Stephen King to the punch on this, but it was publishing chapter by chapter as a book came out. Right. I said, that's going to be an ingredient of this, electronic. I was trying to keep it easy, right? I didn't want to deal with publishing times because by the time you publish a book, it's already outdated in an IT. It's ridiculous. It's, because the IT moves so fast, anything computer related moves so fast. I mean, this industry, same thing, right? So by the time my books would hit the shelf 10 months later, there was already I'm like, oh, chapter 2 is just wrong, and that was hard. So I said, this thing needs to be, we can replace chapters. Also, we can start getting money right away because we just published chapter 1. There it is. And the readers are getting fresh content and all this thing. So we turned it into a positive. So I went to the Windows 2000 show in San Francisco, and I went up to a guy I knew pretty well, pretty warm contact. And I said, hey, David, what do you think about this? And he's like, he goes, don't offer this to anybody else. Talk to me on Monday and I will get you a contract and we'll do this. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe. I literally printed out this 1-page document, like Microsoft Word, that had like some graphics on it. It was like, this thing. And I still have it somewhere. It's like, And I just walked up and showed it to him, and it was just an idea. I had nothing. It was just an idea, and we were like trying to figure out, well, what should we charge for this? Okay, so I made $15,000 to write a 1,000-page book that took me a year. What should we charge? I don't know. Let's ask for what did we ask for? For the first one, I think we asked for $50,000. Let's ask for 25 each. I was gonna have my friend help me write it. Like 25 each. He's like, no problem. And we were like, damn, that was too little money. Right? We should ask for more. Right?
What a moment. I love it.
Yeah. So, but we got the contract. We were excited. It took us 3 months to write the book. It was no big deal. Nobody's lives overturned. Nobody broke up with their girlfriend 4 times during the writing of the book. Not that ever happened to me. Yeah, we actually survived it intact and made a little money. I was like, wow, I think we're onto something here. So the next time I actually started emailing and calling people. I started doing it as an Aikido flip kind of thing at the end of a call. They would talk to me and bend my ear for 45 minutes. At the end, I'd say, hey, can I take a minute of your time to mention this thing we're doing here with this publishing company, exclusive sponsorship of the book? And
that's literally flipping the script, bro. Literally flipping the script on.
Yeah, and like going, I don't even know what happened there, and that's what happened. Like we really had good success, and only a few of them, the ones I didn't know as well, would maybe go, oh yeah, whatever, and get us off the call. But a lot of people were, actually, or I want you to talk to my colleague or what have you. So we had a natural sort of a sales funnel there, which is limited. It was me, but that's what I focused on. And I started not writing all the books, which was good. After 2 books, I was like, okay, this is starting to get to be what I didn't want, which is writing all these books all the time. So I brought my buddies in, and they're like, they're saying no to major publishers to write for me because I'm paying them 3 times as much, at least, sometimes 4 times as much. And I'm giving them these small projects, literally like writing a third or less of what we were doing, like 150-page books.
Oh, wow.
125 to 175.
Right.
But the other part of it is that when we got these guys on the call, so they told you the first one was $50,000. Well, the next one I said, well, let's ask for 75. They said yes. The next one, let's ask for 100. They said yes. Next one, you can probably predict what's going on here. 125. They said yes. Next one, 150. They said yes. Because I'm like, I'm going to find the ceiling here. So I got up to, I won't name who it was. It's a major software security vendor, $250,000 to write a 200-page book.
Nice.
Yeah, the profit margin on that was, let's say it was hefty. I mean, the costs on that was probably, I paid the author the most, which was awesome. I paid an editor and all that, but it was sick money. It was sick money. And these guys were really happy because we were generating, this is the most important part, is we were generating qualified leads for them, for people that were, the books were completely aligned with what they were doing. Right. I mean, it was like, if you were reading that book, you were a target market prospect, a grade A prospect for that company. So they loved it. They couldn't do anything like this. And it was new and exciting, something to talk about. So everybody was happy. And what was interesting is that we had no list. So when we first marketed this, I couldn't offer anything except writing a book. I couldn't say, hey, we'll market this book to, because I had nothing. You got a list?
Right.
No. So I said, okay, in the contract I put in from the beginning, I had the forethought to do this, that you will also, Mr. Sponsor, will market this to your own list, which I'm thinking, oh, these guys must have really big lists, right? So this will be awesome.
Right.
Well, and some of them did. And the thing that happened was we co-opted it was a co-reg list. So all of a sudden we were getting access to their leads. And as this pool of sponsors grew, so long story short, we got just under 1 million people subscribed to this list in less than a year, 10 months. I built a list of 1 million people. Yeah.
Goodness.
And,
my man.
And in 6 months, I was able to have a list enough where I could actually brag about it to potential prospects. And then all of a sudden it became like something. So that now all of a sudden we actually could market, even though we still didn't know what the hell we were doing. But anyway, so I did that whole thing. We did like 50 books. And we started doing videos at the end. And after 5.5 years, about the same time I'm into this right now, I said, actually I was on a plane coming back from Seattle, and I thought, I'm ready to maybe sell this. I'd be willing to get out of this, and if the right buyer came along, but he'd have to be perfect. And I got off the plane, I walked into my office, which was in my home. I worked out at my house. I always have, I still do. And I walked in, I looked at my desk, shuffled through the mail, and here's this outreach, like, I represent a client who's looking to buy a business, and I was like, whoa. And I contacted this guy, and that ended up being the guy that bought my business a year later. Fast forwarding through the horror story of going through a business sale for the first time, but there was a happy ending. we'll pull the perfectly done cake out of the oven. Look, it was, we sold the business, and it was a good thing. It was hell to get there, but and then I was sitting on a couple $1 million for the first time in my life, going, what are you going to do next? But it was fun. It was a fun chapter. But I learned so much about marketing because I was forced to be a marketer that's actually where my interest went. So I became more marketer and less tech. They're strictly tech.
Nice.
So I got into SEO and things like that because I really had to reinvent myself. I was in a non-compete, and that was actually the hardest part of it. That's the part that people don't realize when you sell a business and you sell yourself out of the business. If you are too restrictive, it's kind of like it's what you know and it's what you do, and it's comfort and it's self-identification. And then when you lose that, I had a real identity crisis for a while with my work for the first time in a long time. So it took, I'll be honest, I would say it took a full 5 to 6 years. Was that right? Let's see, 2005. Yeah, it took 5 years until I started this business, until I really righted that, where I was all in again. Where I was like, okay, I'm excited again. I went through a bunch of companies. People pulled me into their companies, and I was like, yeah, this will be great. And then I got 2 months into it, and it's like, this sucks. I hate this. And I tried so many things because you're like, yeah, I'll get into it and it'll work. But yeah, you either have passion. It's just like a relationship. It's like you either have passion or you don't. It's kind of, you can't teach that. It's just either there or it's not. So don't. I would recommend to people never choose anything that doesn't get your heart pumping.
Right.
Because it's just not. It's not going to work, or you're going to be miserable.
So let me ask you this: after you sold your business, did you still have people pursuing you and asking you to write books, or not?
Yep. Yeah, I did, but not as much, because it really what happened when I was doing Real Time Publishers, which is the business that I was describing, that publishing business. What happened was I intentionally became irrelevant in that industry. I was only writing for the magazine at that point. I stopped writing books even for my own company because I was, CEO, sales guy, and doing that. So I intentionally kind of just, worked myself out, because that required total focus and study and research. And it was, you're on the knife's edge with that. And once you fall off that, you don't know the patch of the week and what it just did to the operating system, like really geeky stuff like that. You really don't have as much to say, and so I was like, I want to build myself out of this job. I don't really want to know that much. And like I said, I got rid of all my PCs, stopped being a Windows guy in 2005. What happened was I had a second house in Lake Tahoe, and all my friends came up, and we were all, having a good time, and got to the house, and they all whip out their Macs, and they're doing, chats and all this stuff. And I got my Windows machine, and I'm like out of the party. I'm like totally not part of this. I was like, screw this, man. And it was my birthday when I left there. It was in February. And I went back and bought a Mac and got rid of every Windows machine I had.
My world. That's exactly what happens when we go on our little group retreats, and everybody's got their Macs out. They're all smiling. And I got my little Windows PC. They're like, really?
Yeah. I felt very left out of that party. Yeah, so I was like, I wasn't having that. And also, I hadn't been excited about computers in a long time. I realized, like, I'm not really excited about it anymore. I used to get paid really well to fix Microsoft's problems. That was great. I got to write about their problems and all that. I would have been poor if I was an Apple guy from the beginning. Because I don't have total. Apple has lots of issues. Don't get me wrong. I go on all day. But let's be honest. Like, I could not have made money having a career in break fix writing and consulting with Apple the way I did with Microsoft, in the early days especially. Yeah.
True. So we haven't even talked about the Green Talk Radio podcast.
Oh yeah, so that was part of that journey between 2005 when I sold my business and 2010 when I started this local marketing business, or local and national marketing. So yeah, what happened was I felt like I wanted to do something for the world and not just for me. And just do something. And at that time, environmentalism was, big, and I felt an urge to want to do something that was beneficial. And I was like, well, what am I good at? I'm good at finding authors and producing content. And I was starting to get into WordPress. This is back, and again, this is like 2005, 2006. So I started I was already building WordPress websites for some friends of mine, their businesses and stuff, just playing. It was cool. I liked it. I was using Joomla too, which I got away from that quick. But I said, okay, well, what about doing an environmental blog and we'll do everything. I'm going to find out all the keywords. I didn't know anything about SEO, but I went and I said, let's find out all the keywords for environmentalism. And I literally made a spreadsheet with, I think it had like 550 major keywords on it, or so. It was crazy. It might have actually even been up to 1,000. And I started delegating content out to people to write, and I wrote content, and we just started building random freaking articles on environmentalism on this website. And well, lo and behold, Google really liked that, and we got ranked really well. We were like #2 for Green Living at the time. I think it's still on the first page. I don't have that company anymore, but we started getting a lot of organic traffic, and I was like, whoa, what is this? It was like pennies from heaven. I was like, it was pure. That was the purest white hat SEO I ever did, because I didn't know anything about SEO, and it was like a Google wet dream, right? It's like, some guy who just writes and it gets people to write and stuff ranks, and that was what happened, and it really got me into social media. And that company, which was called Green Living Ideas, it later called Simple Earth Media for a little time, but that company got 1 million followers on social media organically in a year. And the reason we were able to do that is that all the people that wrote were super social media freaks. Like, I don't mean freaks in a bad way. These were okay. If you want to talk about the original amazing ninja social media people, that was people in environmentalism, people like Shay Gunther and David Anderson and all these other people they knew how to get shares on social media and stumble upon. They figured it out. Jerry James Stone in San Francisco. These guys were gurus. Reddit. They'd be like, look, I just got it #1 on Reddit. I just got it. Stumble upon. Blown up. I was in awe of these guys. We were all on a Skype chat together as well. So this is back again, like 2006. I was on Skype chat with these people. Like, they are social media freaks, man. And when they would share, they would build a network, because they're good networkers, and they were really like very heart-centered, good people and all that. Anyway, I learned a lot about social media through that experience, and that was why this company was called Social Media Ninjas, was based on my experience. I mean, I don't think I ever got as good as those guys, but I at least knew what to do to do better on social media and how to get content found there. But then, as it turns out, that was the part I was the least excited about when I started it. I was really into SEO and all this other stuff. But I didn't want to call it SEO Ninjas, but that name was a little cooler. I got props for it, even though I was like, social media, I like getting stuff ranked on Google. It's a little more alluring.
That's amazing. What a journey, man. From those few years just passed, time passed really fast, and that's
sure
amazing.
Did. Where to go? Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your business now then.
Yeah. So right now, I'm primarily focused on local marketing. I basically, when I was having my spiritual schism, I will call it, when I was just going, what am I going to be when I grow up? I didn't know the answer. It was schism. It was hard. I hit the wall. I was like, what? I don't know who I want to be. And so I ended up getting into somebody's course. I don't remember. It was Mario Brown. Okay. Shout out to Mario. I went through whatever that Google Maps course was that he has, and I was like, this looks really good. And then also I got into Traffic Geyser at the time. So I bought into that, and that was what pushed me into local marketing. I was like, this is it. Right. This is hot. I felt like it was like Windows NT all over again. Like, this is going to be the thing. Actually, I was a little late to the party because it was already 2010, but it still felt new. And, Traffic Geyser were still selling to lots of newbies at that time. So it wasn't too far into it. And so I ended up doing that and getting local clients and using the 4-line letter, if anybody knows that, from Jim Cockrum, all the early stuff, all the early day stuff of how to get clients. And, so have since then built that local marketing business. And it's also evolved into, I have national accounts, even some international at times, but mostly I'd say 80% of it's local marketer, local marketing, local businesses. Right. We have a few niches we specialize in. I have a dental sub niche called Dental Marketing Ninjas, and we do that field. But yeah, so that's been really great. It's been a total gift. I mean, it was really financially. What I didn't tell you was in 2010, it wasn't just about, I don't know what I want to be. I was actually financially at a bottom. This is the real truth and the real story behind everything that happened was I went through a really hard time after I sold my business where, we bought another house, we invested in the market. We did all these things that we thought were smart. Well, we bought at the top of the market in Tahoe, and our house went completely underwater along with a lot of other people. Our real estate value of our primary house where we went under. The stock market crashed. Everything went to hell in a handbasket, and we lost most of our wealth. My wife at the time, my ex-wife, stopped working, so we lost her income, and it was this precipitous downfall that I was kind of panicking, like, whoa. And I didn't have the income anymore because I was still on that non-compete and I hadn't found my new passion. So we were just kind of watching the bank accounts dwindle. And I guess the summary is I would have never believed that $2 million could disappear so fast as it did over those 5 years. And so I was really starting from scratch almost again. And I consider myself a pretty financially prudent person. So it was kind of like, I feel like a truck just hit me, like, what happened to me? Like my 3-year-old, what happened to me? Right. And so I had to bootstrap all over again. So the local marketing business and the Mario Brown thing and being here where I am now is the tail, well, not the tail end, but the current day of that journey that started from being pretty stressed out and being pretty close to broke in 2010. So, it was starting over again. And anyway, that's the background there.
That's good to hear that, because a lot of times we see a lot of people who are doing well, and you got to realize we don't always do well. There's always some horrible times that you go through, and that would get you got to pick yourself back up. Hey, I'm the man. But yeah, we'll all go through that time where there's just a season where there's a lot of issues. It seems like, what the heck is going on? Why is this happening right now? And when you said that, you had to find something that has your blood boiling or makes your heart beat more, I get that. Just the other day, I was just talking about how I needed to start doing more rankings with videos and doing more SEO as far as myself. Normally, I don't do that, and I start dedicated on the day like this because it really gets me going. I was ranking some videos the other day, and I was like, yeah, I missed this. But before, I would outsource it, and then you get kind of bored. And you're like, So I totally get what you're saying, man. That's amazing stuff right there.
Yeah, that's good. And those things are what gets you up in the morning. And you got to find them. If you don't have them, find them. Do whatever it takes. And my advice is be fearless, whatever it is. And it doesn't matter, even if it's something that for you, you're like, your ego's judging it, saying, well, that's not a big picture thing. I just like it. Well, give yourself some time to like that thing, even if it's just your little creature comfort, because that's going to keep you keep your head in the game. And if you don't, like you just said, Lem, if you don't have something like that, you just start getting a little bored and stay off phone. And oh, by the way, the last year of my business at Real Time Publishers, I was playing as much Star Wars Galaxies as I was working in business. Like I was the most feared bounty hunter on Naratus server. Let's just say that, because I was so freaking bored. It wasn't because I didn't want to work. I was just on my way out, and I didn't admit it for a while. And so I was, I found distractions, and at that time it was playing a video game. But yeah, I was like, that's not sustainable. I don't think anybody's gonna pay me for that. So yeah.
Right. Did you go to Mario Brown's first what was it, conference in Florida? I've seen him there a couple of times.
Yes. Wait, no, I didn't go to that one. I think I went to the one that Brian had in Atlanta. So I wasn't at the one in Florida. Yeah. Right. I watched that one through the window, like, oh, I wish I was there. And then the next one I said, I'm going to go. And I think that at some point that ended up being because he and Brian were working together a lot at that time. And so I started into also following Brian's stuff. But yeah, so I started to actually meet people face to face.
Cool. So I got to ask you this question because I'm interested to hear. When you started your local marketing business, how did you contact your customers?
Right. So let's see. One of the things I did was that 4-line letter, which I found out about through like kind of Traffic Geyser, was in bed with Jim Cockrum a little bit at the time. And so Jim had this 4-line letter thing. He signed up for his list and all that. You'd get access to it. And it was this 4-line letter that you would send to a local business owner, and that would get them potentially interested in what you're doing. And sure enough, I saved it somewhere. I have the first one that I did, and the first response I got from my first client. And this hardwood flooring guy, he's still a client to this day. I love it.
Nice.
Yeah, 5.5 years later, he's still a client. But he said, Sean, he called me and he's like, I want to meet with you. And so I was using that to some degree. I also had a person making for my wife actually was making some phone calls for me. Just outreach, just cold calling. But I was really kind of just scrambling. I was just throwing spaghetti against the wall. What's going to stick here, And that was definitely a challenge. And I eventually joined BNI as well, and did that. That was a little bit later. But yeah, and it really, as it always ends up being, referrals were a big part of it. Getting referrals from existing clients. I started being really good about asking about that, but it was kind of slow growth in the beginning. But I love the referrals because they are just they're so warmed up, as opposed to I'll take cold clients, but there's a trust thing that you have to go through, which is really hard in our industry too, because people are inherently distrustful of it. I found what we do, they don't understand it, and there's a lot of shady people out there. Present company of this audience, not included. We all know who they are, but yeah. So I just I love the referral stuff. And yeah, and honestly, like I started this as a lifestyle business. I wasn't going to be. I'm going to be the world's biggest local marketer. I'm going to have 500 clients and all that. The thought of that is like, oh, I have no life. Like I won't play golf and I won't see my kids.
Man. Why would you want that?
No, I want a highly leveraged lifestyle where I sit here in my jammies, and I got my Eagles jammies on right now. You can't see them right there. And I work when I want, how I want, and I do love to work. I work hard for my clients, and my team does too. But it's like Cartman on South Park. I do what I want, So I do what I want when I want, and that's how I like it. And so I have just enough clients and good clients. I only have good clients, by the way. I fire the bad ones. I literally do. If people are jerky or disrespectful or non-appreciative, it's like I smile on my face, say thank you very much, but no thank you. I've only had to do that a couple times in my career, but we have great clients. They appreciate the work we do, and we work hard for them, and we have fun. My team, and I protect my team from that too. I've got about 12 people that work for me in various capacities. And, I make sure that they're not working for jerks, because the problem is that, we all start businesses to I'm going to be my own boss. I'm going to work for myself. Well, the problem is when you have clients, you now have 15, 20, 30, 500 bosses. I mean, each of those people has a set of expectations. Maybe they're not standing over your desk every day, but they have expectations. And if you're a moral person, you're going to want to perform for them and do a good job for them. And so, not just take their money. And also, if you want to stay in business, you're going to need to do that. So yeah, there's a mounting pressure there that happens as you get more and more clients. So, yeah.
Man, that's amazing, because when you said good clients, it's good to work with good people, and I went through a batch where I kind of worked. My very first client was kind of like, I don't know if I want to do business with this guy. He's kind of a jerk, and he's mean to his own employees, and I can't imagine what's going to happen if something goes down, because he's going to be calling me first. I don't know if I can handle that. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. I've had those people, and early in my career, I took those people on as clients and deeply regretted it later, because you will see the writing on the wall if you're paying attention. And I can't emphasize this enough. And I know it's like the other voices, people are saying, I want to make money. And so it's really hard. How do you say no to people? And it's like, if your spidey sense, I think everybody's gifted with a certain amount of intuition. If you just even if you just keep your eyes open, it's not some sixth sense woo thing. If you're keeping your eyes open and listening, like you did, heard them talking to their employees, you're going to get a sense of how you might get along, both in the good times and the bad. And if it looks like, it's like, again, I use the relationship thing. Is this somebody that you would, not ask on a date, but the business equivalent of that? Is this somebody that you would picture yourself being in a healthy, productive, mutually productive and healthy business relationship with? And if the answer is no, you want to run screaming from the hills, you can't even stand them, the sight of them or the sound of their voice, or you don't like something about them, then you don't break bread with them. Like, don't have them as a client, because you are just creating your own turmoil. And that 20%, invariably in every business I've ever had, the 20% is going to overshadow the 80. Like, all of your problems are it's even more than 20. It's more like 90-10. 90% of your problems are going to come from 10% of your clients and your income. So the 10% of your income is going to drive 90% of your problems. Until you get militant about saying, I absolutely will not take on bad clients, and I will fire clients that cross the line with us. I mean, maybe you give them a chance, you give them, but you basically just are insistent on an air of mutual respect. And just because they're giving you money doesn't mean that they have bought the right to abuse you or treat you badly. So, I used to have a friend, this guy, Todd Lamley. He's like the #1 Cisco author in the world. And he's a great guy. And he'd say to me, Sean, what are you talking about? You fire your clients? I've never heard of that before. Nobody fires their clients. How do you do that? He'd laugh at me every time we get together. And I was like, yeah, he goes, Todd, Todd, that's just how I am. It's not worth it. Life's too short.
Right. Well, eventually when you make a shift, because you've made that shift and you've learned, and I was going to ask you when, but when you make that shift, you're interviewing them because you want to know if they're a fit for you, and you can help them, but do you really want to work with them? So that is the mentality you should have sometimes when you're going out and meeting these people,
Absolutely. Absolutely. It is the mentality you should have, because that if you adopt the mindset I just described, then that's the truth, is you really are looking for good clients. And especially not everybody does this, but we do the exclusivity thing where we only work with one company per category in a city. And I like that because I did the same, by the way, that's just I did that in Real Time Publishers. We're only going to work with one. That was part of the pitch, scarcity, right? We're only going to work with one company for this book, exclusive sponsorship, which is great. But that means that this one client that you're going to have is going to be the only one in that industry. So you better choose wisely. Choose somebody also that's going to do a good job for their clients, because try doing reputation management. Try getting conversions for a client that's getting 1-star reviews all the time because they're abusive to their clients, or they don't do a good job, or they don't show up on time, or whatever it is. And by the way, I've had that experience where they were new and I didn't know. And, anyway, it's really hard to promote a business that doesn't do a good job. So, I would also say if you're going to take on a hard luck case of a business that has a lot of 1- and 2-star reviews, you're going to have an uphill battle there unless they get religion and decide that they're going to, really turn over a new leaf and maybe start a new company or something. You got to be careful what you get yourself into there, because you're going to be tied to that wagon.
Do you actually see? I want to apologize to some of the people I've been training, but this is something I've never mentioned, because if I see a potential client that I'm doing my homework on, if they don't have good reviews, I don't mess with them, because there's a reason why they don't have good reviews. Now, I know some people go out for reputation marketing and they're actually looking to restore this company, but at the same time, like you said, exclusivity is important. If you're going to work with one company, they have to have at least a medium, of reviews where it's okay that I can take them on. They're not too bad. That could be a certain circumstance. But do you guys do that, or do you just take on anyone?
Yeah, no, we definitely do that. We look at the review body, the only time, and I look at it just like we would look at a Yelp review on restaurants or whatever it is. I look at it the same way. Would I eat there? Would I use this business? And it's kind of like you read the plus and the minus. So hopefully there's some positive reviews. Hopefully there's enough of a body of reviews where you can get a sense of who they really are, because there's only 1 or 2 reviews. It's like, well, who knows? It's like a roll of the dice for everybody, their clients and for you as a marketer, right? I don't know. Maybe these guys are terrible, or maybe they're great and they just got screwed, because people do get screwed over on Yelp and Google, more Yelp than anything, all the time. And Yelp suppresses their reviews, I should say reviews mysteriously disappear overnight when they stop advertising. I'm sure it's a pure corroboration is not correlation. I'm sure that's just really random. That happens with every single client I've ever had. But anyway, so there's a movie coming out called $1 Billion Bully, by the way, that's being Kickstarter funded. I recommend everybody take a look at about Yelp.
Really?
Yeah. $1 Billion Bully. Sorry for the tangent there. I am a co-funder of that project.
That's awesome. That's awesome to know, man.
Yeah.
Is there a link or anything like that we can add on the wall?
Sorry, no, I just kind of came up with that. It was not something I had in my head before I got on here. But if you Google $1 Billion Bully, I think it's either GoFundMe or Kickstarter, but I just stumbled on it. But yeah, it's we want to get that movie made. It looks like they're doing a good job. But yeah, so we look at the review body, and if now if there's a story there, like this business owner says, well, I've only got 2 reviews. This one's a competitor, I know, and this one is a woman who is certifiably crazy who came in and started, wasn't even a customer, and I get, and rely spidey sense, right? I look at the eyes and I see, do I see crazy eyes? Do I see a sincere business owner in a great establishment with smiling employees that, are saying, no, we got screwed over here. And, I love to take on the underdog and help them. So that's a good story. That's where you should do reputation management. Yeah. That's noble. That's a noble purpose. But yeah, if the writing's on the wall and this person has tons of bad reviews and there's clearly a pattern here, taking them on. I mean, more power to you if you want to do that. But I think there is an ethical, we do have power, and we will have influence in how they rank and how they show up if you're good at what you do. So I think there is an ethical consideration to not take on somebody who does a bad job for their clients and put them on top. I think they should at least have some ability, so be somebody that we would do business with ourselves. I mean, again, I don't want to filter out people's prospects completely, but you got to think about those things, because you will. I mean, I think there's going to be a moment where you wake up in the middle of the night and go, I got them number one and they're horrible and they're mistreating.
Yeah, right.
That's maybe something to think about.
Yeah. So, man, you've given us a lot of great content here and some positive stuff. So I want to ask you, for those who are watching right now and they're on the fence about trying to go get a certain client or doing different things for the business, what do you say for them? Because it can be scary, just sitting here. If you're at home, we're working out your home like I do as well, and to think, can I go approach this certain company? Can I do that? Am I able to do that? I mean, what would you say to those people right now who's on the fence? So
people that are on the fence about really pursuing more business in this business. Yeah. So I would say that's critical, and that kind of flows from how you feel about yourself and your business. And I think it's important that you really, if you're not capable of being the one who promotes your business, you've got to have somebody that's doing it for you, somebody who's going out. So you can hire somebody that is really good. The next person that comes door to door and you actually listen to their pitch, despite the fact that you wanted to slam the door in their face, offer them a job to go and work in your local marketing business, because it worked on you. How are you going to work on other people, right? That's one thing I've done before. I've tried to pull some of those people in. But if you're able to self-promote pretty well, I would say that you just need to come up with an elevator pitch that works, and put scarcity in it. Use your marketing tactics. Say, hey, I'm looking for one business in this category. I picked you because I saw you had good reviews, and I'm only going to work with one company in this category. And I want to interview you as a potential client. Make it so that it's something they want. They're only going to want it if they can't have it, right? And just say, I want to sit down for 5 minutes with you and talk about your business. This is what I found. I'm not here to pitch you. I want to see if you would be the right client for me. Could I do that? I want to see if I would even consider you as a client. They're gonna be like, hell yeah, you should consider me. I'm the best of the, I'm the best underwater basket weaver in this entire county. That would be something to try.
And I will be editing this part out.
There you go.
You say that because I actually did something recently, and it's almost similar to that, but I love what you're saying, man.
Okay, nice. Whoa. Nice. I love it. Well, it's just using the same stuff that we use for the clients for ourselves, right? We're just eating our own dog food, as Microsoft would say. So, it's just the same. It's the same deal. But, you just got to get out there, and there's many forms. I mean, it's hard to say one way. There's so many ways to get, to get the word out. Referrals, once you have clients, and if you already have clients, you're sitting on a gold mine of business. Most people just don't ask. They do work for the client. They're kind of afraid to talk to them. They tend not to talk to them very much. I go to the clients that I get results for. I'd say, listen, literally, this is exactly what I say. I say, you're a great client and I want more like you. Ego stroke, true. I don't care what business they're in. I obviously not in your business in this town anyway. Right. Other people, because they network with other people. They go to these association meetings nationally and blah, whatever. They got buddies in the area that they peer mastermind with, or maybe they don't call it that, but they got their peer networking groups, and say, I want to get in with these people. Do you have a national convention that I could come with you to, and maybe be a speaker there or have a booth or whatever? There's so many avenues here, but using your current happy, satisfied clients as a launching platform to get more clients. It makes sense. And then the other thing too is, if you can grow within a vertical, you become the go-to expert in that vertical, and you can do this very quickly. Where you just get a few of these clients, and now you know what it takes to market them. You know what keywords perform. Certain things about it, and you look around and go, well, there's nobody else doing this, so I'm suddenly the #1 national expert in underwater basket weaving or whatever it is, right? That can happen very, very quickly, or at least regionally, right? You can become the go-to person, and your client, if they're happy, they will support you if you ask. Most people just don't ask; they're afraid to ask.
Man, I've made it a purpose now when I take someone on. And I let them know, hey, look, I'm going to do everything in my power to make you a rock star, but I need you to do me a favor. I need 3 people. I'll do it in the beginning, and I will hound them about it because it's so important. Because, number one, they trust me to write me a check to do work for them month after month. Why not give me some of your people that you actually associate with? They have businesses, Yeah. Let me talk with them too. And maybe we can cut you a deal or something, because I want to that's a nice and easy, warm way to get more business and really having to hustle, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, I love that idea. I don't understand why people are afraid to ask for referrals. I mean, that's the way it is. Hey, like you said, you just told us about a $1 billion bully, That's another movie that I can go watch. Hey, man, y'all need to come and watch this movie. Who'd you get this from? Oh boy, on Cup and Go, what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah,
it's a nice circle.
Yeah, it is, and it's fear of rejection. I think is the reason people don't do it. And what you just said is brilliant, and I'm really glad you mentioned that about asking at that time, because there's no wrong answer here. The reason that is really good to make sense is the principle of consistency, right? Yes. Where it's that people have made a decision to work with you, and that decision to give you referrals is consistent with their previous decision to write a check to you and to trust you. So it's easier for you to get it in that moment. And there's no risk of them not doing it because you didn't quite get them ranked the way they wanted it or whatever. So, yours is probably even better. It's just how I choose to do it these days, but that's a great idea.
Yeah, because I want to make sure I get them something right up front when they're already in a good mood. They're giving you a check. They're in a good mood.
and everything's sunshine and rainbows. It's Disneyland. It's like, we're going to blow up there. It's going to be awesome. We're going to be #1 and money's going to come rolling in. And that's great. Hopefully it's going to be true, but that's the mindset they're in because they're making that decision. And so Lem, with what he said, that's, what that does. That's going to make people more likely to give you those referrals.
Awesome. Sean, this has been an awesome hour, man. I mean,
I
want to apologize for not contacting you earlier, man. Every once in a while, chat say, hey, what you doing? You're like, I'm rocking. I'm doing this, Lem. I'm like, yeah, I love to hear that, man,
Yeah, definitely. No, and I've followed you guys. I've gotten rid of a lot of lists. I've gotten off a lot of lists, but I still follow you guys.
That's awesome. Appreciate it. We don't put out much, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, well... Yeah, because my boy Daryl Eves said good things about you guys.
Oh, yeah. Good on Daryl. Man, awesome. How can people find you if they want to follow you, my man?
I'm a ninja. I'm invisible. You can't find me. I don't even exist.
I love it. You better watch it. You might get a store and start trying to go to his website.
Social Media Ninjas is my main internet marketing website. So you can check that out. And just shoot me. You can find me on Skype as Sean Daily, SeanDaily, or contact me through the website or Sean at Social Media Ninjas with an S at the end.com.
Very nice. And one last question: what's your main goal for your company in the next 2 years?
Sell it. Either sell it or blow it up. Because I'm ready to take it to another level that I've not been wanting to take it to before. So I'm going to do one of the two. I'm either going to blow it up to another level or sell it. So I got an Amazon thing going on the side too. So I got to decide where my efforts are going to go. But yeah, something good's going to happen one way or the other. I'll tell you that. Something good. Yeah, I'm going to keep having fun. I'll tell you one thing is I'm going to keep having fun with it. And I'm still having fun, and I'm glad to be able to say that.
Well, you know what? If you're not having fun, then you pretty much need to find something else. And that's what I've heard over and over again, in life. Man, Sean, this has been amazing, man. I want to thank you once again for coming on. I know it was like short notice for you, and you're like, Lem, really?
No, I was because you said, Sean, I want to bring you a cup of Joe. And I'm like, Lem's going to deliver Starbucks to me? What? I was like, "Whoa, what?" And you're like,
from the push of a button, boom.
Yeah, here we are. Well, thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to your audience and chat with you. And so it's been real. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, dude, you are a rock star, man. And I just hope, man, I keep blessed. I just hope that God blesses your business, man. You've come through a lot, and your children. I know your children are looking at you. They're looking at, look at daddy. He's a rock star, you know.
Except the 14-year-old who decided that he's cooler, but that's okay. That's part of life.
Cool. I'd like to thank everybody for showing up here today. And if you're watching the replay, excellent job. We thank you for joining us. If you go to Cup of Joe, SaturdayCupofJoe.com, to the right, you'll see a microphone. You can click on it. If you have any questions for me or for Sean for later on, I can send those to him. Go ahead and speak your mind. Make sure it's positive stuff, because if it's haters, well, I love my haters. Whatever. You can speak too. So with that being said, we won't be here next week because I think we're having Thanksgiving extended on the weekend. So I hope everyone has a great, Thanksgiving. What are you guys doing, by the way, Sean?
Yeah, we are having Thanksgiving dinner here at the house. Just laying low, just chilling. Yeah, so it's going to be good. I'm looking forward.
Are you going to cook, bro, or are you going to leave that to the wife?
No, I'm going to help out a little bit. She's going to do the heavy lifting, though. She lets that. But we spend a little time in the kitchen with a glass of wine, and I show up. But yeah, it's a token. Right? It's a token gesture. But I show up.
He's like, hey, what y'all doing?
Yeah, here, let me stir that for you. Yeah, I don't abandon her all day.
I love it. Well, man, I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving. Once again, thanks for joining us, and have a great day, everybody, and an awesome life. We'll talk to you guys soon.